Welcome to Western Integrated Systems Upland FileBound series. I'm showing you how to do a expense report from FileBound. First step in the process is to go to the Upland FileBound site that you have. Ours is our Western Integrated System at fileboundrs.com. Once we go in there, you're going to know your username to log into. And then if you have some type of password program or anything like I do, I just click that. I have already authenticated to that program, so it saves my passwords. And then what I can do is I can go ahead and type in my password if it's an internal account, or if we're on some type of single sign-on, that information will actually be stored. And basically you can log into our system. So at that point, once I've put in my username and my password, I'm going to hit the sign in button. That's going to take me to my home page, whatever I have set up for FileBound. And in my case, it goes to the assignments folder, which I don't have any current assignments set up, so I have no tasks at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here to the bottom left-hand corner. I'm going to click on the Forms button, and so you can cursor over, you can see it gives the name of Forms. I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to go into a specific category, and I have different projects set up for demonstrations, or I have one for our employee files, which is for our HR system to do time off or expense reports. So I'm going to choose the expense report for this particular presentation, and I'm going to choose the expense report, and then down here I can choose the files. I already have the expense report receipts that I have, so I'm going to choose those, and you can see here I can just cursor over and lasso those, hit the open button, and then it'll attach all 5 files. And at that point, you're going to choose the employee ID for your organization. Now we can set up these fields to be anything you want in your organization, but the nice thing about this is I know that my employee number is number 268, and when I tab over, it automatically fills in all my information for my name, what my position is, who my manager is, and then I can choose from a drop-down list what month I'm submitting the expense report for. So I'm going to choose December, and then I'm going to fill in the information for December. So it automatically comes up with the current calendar. So if you want to do the current date, you can. In my case, I know this is for last month for expenses that I need to submit. So I'm going to go in for December 16th. I can then type in a description. If I've already used this already, I can fill in the information, or I can just type that information in. And it does have kind of a type ahead if it found that information before. And for example, if I wanted to say this is for November, I could do November. In my case, this is for December. I have expenses for automobile, for mileage, travel, auto expenses, materials and expenses. I have an employee or employee expense, or I have admin expense. In this case, it's going to be the employee expenses. I can cursor over this information. It tells me exactly what information is set up in the system for those types of expenses. You can see here for meals and entertainments, and clients, you need to add your account name over here. So if you took somebody out for expense, and you can see any of these are labeled, and then we have the admin one as well. So any office supplies, etc. So in my case, I'm going to choose this as I'm going to type in here, and it's a $70 a month expense that I know. And then if I wanted to, I can type in this information, or I could go back to the previous month and I could choose that date. So whatever you want to do, it works either way. And then the system knows that last month I did this for Verizon, and it knows last month that my bill was $100. It already knows that information. It keeps that in the machine language and is able to store that. So the last one I'm going to do, which is on the 21st, and I actually chose the wrong month, so I'm going to go back and choose the 21st. And then I'm going to say that's healthcare for December. And then I'm going to say that's a total of $340. If I already had it in there, I could just choose it. And you see down below, it totals up the information, automatically calculates, and then has the information. And then when you're ready to add additional items, you can add additional lines here for any lines that you want to add, any dates, descriptions, any expenses there, so you can add that. In my case, I don't have any more to add, so I'm going to hit the drop down. Now I can save this for later, so I can send this information and store it in the system, and then when I come back and maybe I have another expense report I'm waiting till the end of the month to get or something like that, I can add that new entry and then add it, and I can save it now. I can also submit for approval, so I can click on that button, hit save, and that will automatically send it to the person in the workflow for approval, so they can look at my original files that I submitted along with line item detail and see if this information matches up. Now, there are ways to tie these together to expense credit card feeds. If that's in a database, we could do that and automatically populate stuff. There's possibilities of some of that stuff. I also have the option here for printing this. We're trying to get to a paperless or a paperlight environment, so we're not going to go ahead and print that, but I can hit save. That's automatically going to submit that to my expense report in HR for approval, and then it will show up in my task where that is in the approval process. Now, I'm not going to submit this because this is a live system. So that concludes our demonstration of FileBound for the expense reporting system for Western Internet.